vision and realization of a school for students. This vision stems from the profound realization that today's education system is increasingly failing to meet the real needs of young people and their communities. Schools impart theoretical knowledge, but often fail to promote dignity, independence, or local development, and degrees do not guarantee a future. This raises the question: does today's education really prepare children to solve the real problems of their community? When doubts arise, one thing is clear: the school of the future is not just an idea, it is an urgent necessity. The school of the future is being reimagined as a vibrant place that combines education and life. It is no longer a place of escape from the village, but an anchor for development, identity, and change. Education should not primarily prepare students for exams, but for real life, for acting, creating, repairing, producing, providing, and taking responsibility for the community. Learning is not merely for the acquisition of knowledge, but for the ability to positively change one's own environment. The central guiding principle of this school is simple, and at the same time radical. Education should primarily prepare students for real life, for action, to creating, to repairing, producing, providing, to taking collective responsibility. Here, learning is not about merely accumulating knowledge, but about the ability to positively change one's own environment. This school is deeply rooted in its local context. It is oriented toward the real challenges of the region: agriculture, water, nutrition, health, and resource management. Education thus becomes a tool for sustainable development and a source of collective autonomy. A central element is learning through practice, the so-called intelligence of the hands. Craftsmanship, gardening, building, cooking, repairing. These are not secondary activities, but central forms of learning. Understanding comes through doing. Pride in one's own abilities. Responsibility for one another. Cooperation. And the feeling, I can make a difference. When I hear something, I might remember 20% of the content, according to research. When I do it myself, I understand over 80% of what it's about. Sure, knowledge is important, but I can hardly earn any money with it. With crafts, I can. This school also brings the community back into education. Elders, parents, craftsmen, farmers, and local knowledge keepers once again become co-educators of the children. The school thus becomes a cross-generational meeting place. Knowledge no longer flows only from top to bottom, but between generations, in dialogue, in joint action. Culture is at the center of learning. Local languages, music, traditions, stories, dances, rituals. These are not decoration, but the heart of education. Children learn who they are, where they come from, and why their identity and dignity are strengths. They learn to listen to their hearts, their intuition, and their inner voices again, and not just to obey. But that's not mutually exclusive. And they question everything critically. Yes, this critical awareness is more important than ever before. The school does not erase cultural roots, it allows them to grow. Nature also becomes a classroom again. Fields, gardens, forests, and the cycles of the seasons become learning spaces. Observing plants, animals, and soils sharpens the senses, awakens curiosity, and creates a deep ecological awareness. Respect for life is not preached, it is experienced. Another central goal is independence and dignity. School teaches self-sufficiency skills. Food security, knowledge of how to live and eat well and healthily, local trade, entrepreneurship, and resource conservation. Dependence is replaced by competence. Resignation by agency. Health and nutrition play an integral role in this. Hygiene, prevention, first aid, traditional and modern health knowledge are naturally part of the curriculum. School gardens, cooking together, drying and preserving food combine learning with well-being and make health a communal task. At the same time, this school is a place of personal development. Children learn to listen, express themselves, deal with emotions, and resolve conflicts. Education here appeals not only to the head, but also to the heart and hands. Self-confidence grows, not through competition, but through recognition and belonging. Teachers are no longer just imparters of knowledge, but companions, role models, and coaches. They are firmly rooted in their culture and accompany children on their individual paths. Tradition and innovation are not contradictory. Solar energy, digital tools, and modern technologies are used consciously to serve people. Technology becomes a means, not a measure. Project-based learning is central. Students plan and implement concrete projects. Gardens, reforestation, water systems, local markets, compost. In this way, they learn initiative, planning, responsibility, and the value of community action. The school also opens itself up as a community center. It is also open to adults and serves as a venue for cultural activities, continuing education, and exchange. Learning becomes something that accompanies a person throughout their entire life. The school's administration is participatory. Students, parents, teachers, and the community make decisions together. Democracy is not explained, it is experienced. Finally, this school also creates economic prospects. Through agriculture, crafts, and educational opportunities, it can generate income, create jobs, and promote regional development. This school does not simply educate students. It educates future leaders. Conscious, competent, independent people who love their community, strengthen it, and develop it further. Many of these elements are already being successfully implemented at the Ibrahima Faye School in Gapara, Senegal. And yet, or perhaps precisely because of this, these schools achieve the best grades, relatively speaking. This vision is not an abstract dream. It is a concrete, realistic response to the ecological, social, and economic challenges of the 21st century. A school that not only teaches but also inspires a new enthusiasm for teaching, learning, and the future. What treasures of good pedagogy did I discover during my visit to the school in Senegal? After just a few minutes at the school, I sensed that learning is lived here. Not from books alone. Not out of obligation. But out of joy, relationship, and community. Percussion and dance are integral parts of the curriculum. Rhythm, energy, cooperation. The children learn not only with their heads, but with their whole bodies, and you can see how it strengthens them. Everywhere you look, you encounter creative and craft projects. Crafting, painting, repairing, designing. The students paint their school building together or even build a solar dryer. Here, learning becomes something you can touch, something that lasts. When learning languages, the children do not sit still and quiet. They practice loudly together and with joy, for example, in English class. Living language, living learning. Plants grow in the schoolyard, including a banana tree that the children tend to themselves. This creates a connection to nature, not theoretically, but in everyday life. The school is open. People from outside are also welcome to participate in crafts, projects, or celebrations. Here, school is a place for community. I was particularly impressed by the democratic cooperation. Teachers and school administrators make decisions together. The principal is not a superior, but a partner and a role model. His office, always open to students. A visible sign of trust and genuine relationships. The school uniform is uniform, simple, and cheerful, so that no child has to compare themselves or feel inferior. Few media, few screens. Instead, real experiences, real encounters, real projects. The principal is not above doing anything. He sometimes cleans together with the children, showing that dignity does not depend on tasks. When there are problems, he visits the families personally. He knows his students' lives, and they know, we are not alone. The children even have tools for proper craftsmanship at their disposal. Learning that is familiar to the hands, and serves life. They learn about, love, and operate machines such as cordless screwdrivers and drills, saws, electric jigsaws, hot glue guns, and much more. They fought to be allowed to work with them. The heartfelt connection and love for nature is an aspect that has been conveyed through films and words. This also fosters a desire to protect nature. As a contribution to the common good and for the next generation, we have started a project to plant and care for trees together with the students. Everyone will then have their own tree. The following was also financed and implemented at another school in Haiti. Regularly eating together at school strengthens the community more than 1,000 words. Great care is taken to ensure that the food is very healthy, because for the brain and intelligence to develop properly, there must be no nutritional deficiencies at certain stages of development. That is why morina, a superfood that grows there, is added to the food. A super tree. What remains from this visit? The realization that good education does not depend primarily on technology, programs, or buildings, but on heart, relationships, creativity, responsibility, and genuine community. This school in Senegal reminds us of what learning really means. Growing together, acting together, and making life itself the teacher.